In some absolutely heartbreaking news that was first reported late last night, former Denver Bronco great Demaryius Thomas has passed away at the age of 33. Demaryius Thomas had been found dead on December 9th, 2021, at his home in Roswell, Georgia. It was determined later that it was due to medical complications. He had just recently been in a car crash and he had complications coming from that apparently. And there's no reason to think it was anything else other than that. And we will see what happens over the next few days. I'm sure it'll become more clear, and we'll probably get more news about the crash and everything that led up to it. But Demaryius Thomas, dead at the age of 33, and he was a legend. And he's not somebody who a lot of people would really claim to be a great receiver of his era, but anyone who watched the game during that time, anyone who was there, anyone who paid attention, anyone who knows anything about football, knows that Demaryius Thomas was one of the best receivers in a almost 6 or 7 year span in the NFL. He had, I believe it was 6 consecutive years of at least 1,000 yards of receiving. He had few, I believe it was back-to-back All-Pro seasons, five-time Pro Bowler, obviously, Super Bowl champion with the Denver Broncos. He went on to play with the Houston Texans, spent some time with the New England Patriots before eventually winding out his career with the New York Jets. And what makes it even sadder is he just announced his retirement earlier this year in June. In June 2021, he retired from the NFL. He was looking forward to his life after football. You know, he had the contracts, he had the success and everything that comes with it. And it's just so sad to see someone at the very young age. 33 is a young age. Like, it's not, and it's crazy to think, he played almost a decade in the NFL. Um, but yeah, and Demaryius Thomas, first round pick from the Denver Broncos in 2010. He was the pick before Tim Tebow. Everyone remembers Tim Tebow from the 2010 draft, but they forget about Demaryius Thomas, the guy who was picked before Tim Tebow, actually. Josh McDaniels' first pick in that draft. And, rookie year, he didn't do much, but he really came on that second year in 2011. He came on a lot, and you could see it, even as the offense was behind Tim Tebow and they had galvanized behind the running game and everything. Demaryius Thomas was a consequential, critical piece in that offense because a lot of times, whenever there was a great offensive pass play or whatever, Demaryius Thomas was the reason for that. This play right here is evidence of that personified. Demaryius Thomas will always be known as the receiver in the first ever overtime game with the new rules. He was the receiver who took it the distance. I believe it was 80 yards to the house. Number 88, 80 yards to the house for a touchdown against the Pittsburgh Steelers in a wild card game. And Tim Tebow owes him everything, honestly. And then obviously they switched to Peyton Manning, and that came with that more success. He had, 1,000-yard season after 1,000-yard season, 10 touchdowns a year. I believe he capped out somewhere around 1,600 yards in 2013, I think, or 2014. Obviously won that Super Bowl in 2015. He was a critical piece there as well, even though that offense was struggling. And he stuck around for a few years. He stuck around through the Trevor Simeons, the Paxton Lynches of the world, and still managed to be successful for a time. And then, as happens, eventually, I don't even want to say age. Sometimes the league, just the way it works, it gets younger. And you find reasons not to sign, even though I think at the time Demaryius Thomas was still a really, really good player. He wound up finding work. He wound up with the Houston Texans, wound up with the Patriots, wound up with the Jets, and being being a critical piece on their teams and contributing. And not a lot of people can say that. He played in the league for 10 years, and he was a threat. I think people forget that. Demaryius Thomas was a legitimate threat. We're talking about someone who was 6'3", like just a powerhouse. This dude was built like a brick house. I think it was like 230, like for a receiver that's pretty big, and he was fast. He was fast. He would go up. He was a possession receiver. He would get balls. He would fight through traffic. I mean, he was almost like a smaller tight end playing that position, and it's crazy to think Demaryius Thomas is not around. And I think one of the reasons, as I'm reflecting on it, one of the reasons we don't really talk about Demaryius Thomas as one of the best or greatest receivers of, that generation, of that era, I think is because he was a quiet guy. As far as, he wasn't like a diva. He wasn't, the stereotypical diva receiver doing crunches in his garage or his front lawn or whatever, all that. Just a guy playing football and being great at it. And, hopefully that'll be his legacy. Obviously, our thoughts and prayers go out to his entire family, anyone who ever played with him, his loved ones. I know they're having a heavy heart, and honestly, I think we all are. It's just sad because I've talked about this before, but when you follow someone's career for so long, like I remember watching the draft when Demaryius Thomas was drafted, and I was kind of upset because I was like, I wanted the Ravens to get him. But, I mean, you follow someone's career for that long, even though it's like a little bit detached, you do feel like, you know them to an extent. They're familiar. You welcome them into your home. You watch their games. You follow their careers. You follow their lives. Yeah, and it's just heartbreaking when stuff like this happens, especially at this young age. But again, thoughts and prayers go out to everyone affected. Yeah, Demaryius Thomas passing away at the age of 33. Thanks for watching this video from Real Take Sports Talk. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Also, remember to check out our live show every single Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on the YouTube channel. And remember, keep it real.